Class, we have made it to week 8. Yes, what a great class this has been. I hope you guys have had a great time in this, our Cybersecurity Foundation, Cybersecurity Fundamentals classes. Covered a lot of stuff throughout this class. And I will say a lot of it, so it may seem a little mundane, but I will tell you, when you get a job, when you get out into the career and start the work, you're going to see that a lot of the things that you covered may not be as techy as you thought it would be, but it's a great foundational class because so many people that we have in the career field are technical whizzes. However, they don't really understand the core tenets of cybersecurity, and there is a difference. So what we got in week 8, this week we're going to wrap it up. We're going to do some reflection, and I got some mentoring slides I've added in here as well. Some things that I'd like to share with you from just my experience as a cybersecurity manager an analyst and other auditor, other positions that I've held, like I say currently as a manager, things I'd like to share with you. But first, let's take a look at what this week is going to be about. Well, like I say, in this module, you're wrapping things up. We're going to talk about certifications a little bit, and really the one thing that you have as a deliverable, you're going to make your first inputs into your cyber playbook. Very important. Some of the learning objectives, like I said, talk about industry certs, reflect on your course experience, and reflect some artifacts to go into that cyber playbook. Some reading, 2 chapters. Like I say, one on chapter 12 talks about digital forensics, how to recover data, as well as chapter 14 gets into some of the Department of Defense and military standards for the cybersecurity workforce. Now, I will tell you, that is where my background lies. Like I say, I've spent a lot of my time in the DoD, in the military, working with NIST 853, Joint Special Access guides and other things of that nature within the military environment, the DoD environment. So I have a lot of experience in that area. Now, one of the things I always like to kind of talk about from a cybersecurity perspective, what are some of the core competencies you're going to need to be successful? And you're going to get a lot of these throughout your class, throughout your coursework here at SNHU. One of the things that you have to have is a core understanding. You don't have to be an expert, but you need a core understanding of basic networking, basic layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 of the OSI model, basic networking. Understand switching, routing, firewall, those types of things. Just have a basic knowledge. And things like IP addressing, IPv4, IPv6, subnetting, subnet masking, those types of things, yes. That's one of the core foundational building blocks. Next thing, operating systems. Again, you're not a system administrator, but understanding how Windows, how Linux, Mac OS, but definitely Windows and Linux. So those are the two you're going to probably see the most out there. Understand how operating systems work, how global policies are set in operating systems, how you're able to turn things off, how to do hardening, how to ensure that your operating systems are hardened. Even though as cybersecurity, we may not actually do the hardening. What do? We actually do the testing. We do the checking to be sure that hardening has been applied and to what level and what granularity have that hardening been done using things like security technical implementation guides or STIGs or SCAP scans, different types of vulnerability testing and scans. Cloud, as we're moving forward, yes, having a resident knowledge of cloud computing definitely is a key contributor. Knowing things, your SPS model, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and trust me, there are many more things as a service to be aware of. But having that basic fundamental of understanding clouds is very important. Now, this is a huge one right here, one that we probably don't spend enough time on because this is really at the heart many times of the how of doing security is cryptology, right? How we encrypt, how we de-encrypt, encryption principles, symmetric encryption, asymmetric encryption. As you're going through these classes in your classwork, please pay special attention of understanding, because when we think about things like CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, how are those first two typically done? With some type of encryption, right? Whether it's asymmetric encryption or PKI, public key encryption, or private key encryption, how those things are done. Having that fundamental background, very important. Also, scripting. Now, you don't have to be a script junkie. No, but understanding PowerShell, Bash, because many of the tools you're going to use, like Splunk, Nessus, all these tools, many times you're able to have to understand scripts, how to write a script. Having a little background in scripting is monumental. It's going to help you. It's going to speed things up when you hit the field, no doubt about that. database concepts, really, because everything that we typically do on our network, all the data, even the back end of things like Splunk and all these other things, what's in the back end of it? Some type of typically a SQL, a SQL database. Or a PostScript type of database. So having a knowledge of database concepts, I tell you, I rely on that more and more because this is a data-driven environment that we operate in. So having data, being able to manipulate that data, being able to analyze that data so that we can make decisions, smart decisions, so we can provide leadership with the decision quality data that so they can make the right decisions, the right choices. And probably the last thing I say was some basic programming. This kind of ties back into the scripting a little bit, but having Java, Python, C++, just a little background that so you're not totally ignorant, because many things you're going to look at can have its root there. Because one, also when we look at a lot of our security flaws, it is in software, our code, how things are written. So anyway, so these are just some basic core competencies. Now, like again, many of these you're going to gain right here in SNHU because you're going to go through classes in each one of those. Just to pay particular attention to that. So when we think about technology career paths, right? If you look at, from an information systems perspective, these are all the different things that can be associated with an information system, whether it's customer support, you got computer system analysts, software developers, web developers, actual computer programmers, people who do database analysis, cybersecurity, networking, IT. I mean, there's a lot of people in this entire arena. Now, when we look at it from a cyber perspective, I group these in and these are very, very loose groupings, okay? But from a cybersecurity perspective, you have entry level, mid level, and advanced levels. At the entry level, that's where you're going to see your auditors. So if you're looking for jobs, entry level many times, or it may be an incident or intrusion analysis analyst. Where you're just doing incident response. Or some type of cybersecurity specialist where you're doing basic auditing, basic analysis. At that mid-tier, that's when you're going to still be like a tier 2 analyst, whereas here, this cybersecurity specialist may be a tier 1 analyst, where they're looking at data, they see some type of incident, if they can't resolve it quickly, they pass it up to the tier 2. This is also where your pen testers and vulnerability testers, as well as consultants, cybersecurity consultants. You kind of hit this advanced range. That's when you get into your cybersecurity engineering architects and managers, right? These are the ones of us who actually engineer security into our systems, into our networks, and build it, or architect it, meaning that we have a new system coming online. So not only do we need the engineers to understand how to build a networking piece, but we need to understand how to build in security at the same time, how to have controls implemented as we are building systems and not waiting to strap it on afterwards. So like I say, that is kind of just a stair-step look from an entry, mid, to advanced levels within the career field. Now also I always like to cover, because I know things are always like certs. And now, again, very loose numbers, okay? This average salary, again, don't take this out for heart and go in an interview and say, well, my instructor Wallace said that I should be averaging $105,000 a year for this job. No, please don't use it for this. But again, I just want to walk through this quickly so you see different job titles, what the average salary may be, the education level, skill levels, and which certifications that you could use in those positions. So if you look at incident response analyst, it's really those positions that we had on the previous slide, right? And what they do, incident response, security, your SIMs, like Splunk, be able to operate those tools, be able to do auditing and things of that nature on Windows and Linux operating systems. Now, your CompTIA Security Plus is a great start for that, as well as your Certified Information System Auditor, the CISA, that's another certification. I always tell guys that really, you can't go wrong with Security Plus. You cannot go wrong at the entry level with Security Plus. We get into the IT auditor, yeah, you may be around 100K. You may start there, maybe not. Like I say, that's pretty high. I would say typically maybe more around the 90-ish, 95, depending on the area of the country. So there's a lot of factors that go into that salary number. Again, associate's, bachelor's degrees, and here auditing, you're doing a controls assessments and risk analysis, and we see what certs could help you out in that area. And then when you get to that cybersecurity specialist, about the same thing. Now you're applying the risk management framework and you're starting to do some types of threat hunting as that cybersecurity specialist / auditor. You see those positions are very close together. At that mid-tier, we start talking consultants. Now you're looking at, definitely gonna need at least a bachelor's degree, and a lot of certs that can help you out there. Now, here's what I'm saying. I don't want you to walk away thinking I've got to get all these certs. No. I'm just saying these are some mid-tier certs that can enhance your career if you're thinking about going down this path. Now, as a cybersecurity consultant, what I don't have up here is experience. You definitely need a level of experience to be a good consultant at that mid-tier. You're talking 5 maybe to 10 years of experience. The same with that cybersecurity analyst, the tier 2 type analyst, and pen testing. Now, if you want to go down this route, you've got to be the geeky, techie guy. I tell you, to be a good pen tester, you have got to know your stuff and really having a good cert. But you know what? Really, when they're looking for pen testers, just the fact that you've got a certification, CEH or whatever that cert may be, is not as important as the questions they're going to ask and how you answer those questions, because it's going to be all about exploits. Can you write exploits? How to build your own, and having the background in scripting and these other tool sets so that you know how to actually do penetration testing and be very, very proficient at that. One tool that if you have so many people, I want to do pen testing. I'm thinking you probably don't. You probably think you do, but you do. You have to master a lot of tools, understanding tools. You're going to be a Kali Linux expert. You're going to really understand how to build exploits, how to decompose exploits, because many times you want to reverse engineer what someone has already done. Now at this advanced level, whether you're the cybersecurity manager, engineer, architect, this is when you get into your high-level certifications, your CISPs, CISMs, and things of that nature, right? Bachelor's, master's degrees, really, that's where you're going to go. Your skill sets are going to, as you see now, a lot less technical, a lot more managerial and architectural, for understanding frameworks, understanding those types of things, okay? So that's where you would go with this. Kind of from the entry to the mid to the high levels. Again, certs, everyone wants certs. Be careful with certs, okay? I will tell you, be careful. It sounds so cool when you first started. You want to have all these initials behind your names. I got my CSSP, I got my CISM, I got my Security Plus, CEH. Oh man, you're rattling these certs off. You know what's going to happen in 3 years? Well, all these certs are going to come due for reaccreditation. And now you got to get all these CEUs, continuing education units. And you know what? Those are not cheap. So now you got to pay to keep all these certifications. I'm not saying don't do it, but just be aware of that. It sounds cool at first, but now when they come due for recertification, as a matter of fact, my CSSP, I got another year and a half. I got to get all my CEUs and pay the $120 over every 3 years. Yeah, $360 to get that. Actually, it's more than that now. That's not the right number. But anyway, it's about $400 to get that renewed. So that's the good and the bad on certifications. I will tell you the biggest takeaway as we wrap this up, having certs and having all these things are great. Get your foot in the door, give you a basis of understanding. But I tell you, to me, as I wrap this up, and this is the last thing you're going to hear from me, unless you have another class with me at SNHU. As cybersecurity, you have to learn how to translate the language. Got to be a language translator. That by far is probably the biggest thing that I see, where sometimes we do not spend enough time in academia teaching you how to translate. What do I mean? Learn to speak the right language. You see, in cybersecurity, even in this class so far, what were you really taught? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, CIA. That's the language we speak. We speak controls, and we speak threats, vulnerability. We speak all of these languages, all right? CIA. And when we talk to each other, cyber guys, that's how we talk, and we understand each other. The fallacy comes in, though, when we talk to our leadership, program managers, other people in our organization, they don't speak CIA. For instance, program managers, what do they speak? Cost, schedule, performance. That's what they're concerned about. We're here to make money, so we want to be sure that we sell this product, we build it, we test it, and we sell it to a customer, at or below cost, on or below schedule, and the performance meets the specifications or higher. That's what they're concerned about. You start talking to these guys about confidentiality, integrity, and availability, it usually blows right over their head, and then you get the deer in the headlight look. So to be really proficient from a cybersecurity perspective, we have to learn how to translate CIA into cost, schedule, performance. Meaning, the reason you need to spend this money to do this is because if we don't, then it's going to drive costs to your contract. It's going to slow down your schedule, because if we have a inspection and we fail the security inspection, now you're not going to be able to produce products until the customer, especially if you're working in the DoD or with the government, until we can get these controls taken care of to reduce the risk to a level that's acceptable, that we can start operating, so now you can start producing that product again. That's how we want to talk. Now, if you got engineers in the organization you work in, they speak a completely different language. Question, hypothesis, results. Basically, we have a problem, we're going to come up with a solution, and we're going to fix it. And the last thing they want to talk about is security. That is the last thing. Please stay out of our way. Stay out of our lab talking about security until we get the thing built. That's how they want. And we're talking about, no, we want to, engineer security in while you're building. That's what the community all want to do, but that sometimes hampers the engineers who have to sit and develop something, and you want to start, building security in it up front. So you really have to understand how to integrate with these different people in your organization. Learning to interpret and speak the right language, because nobody except us cybersecurity geeks want to talk about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Everyone else they've got their own language. So that's why we have to be able to partner. One of the big fallacies that many of us in security have is we want to run behind our little closed door in our little area and not talk to anybody until something goes wrong and we got an inspection, and we come out and give them a lot of reasons why they can't do something. Well, you can't do this because of JSIG or DOD 8570, yada yada yada. And at that point, nobody wants to talk to you, because you haven't been visible in the organization. So what you want to do is make yourself as visible in the organization up front, in meetings. And you can't be the person of can't. You have to be the person of, we can do whatever you would like to do, sir or ma'am. Here are the risks, and we're going to tell you what the risks are, and here's ways we can mitigate it. But we can work to get you there. Because in security, you got to remember, almost, except for a few things, maybe with crypto, with ComSec, where there are some laws, some actual regulations, but pretty much everything else is negotiable. If someone is willing to accept the risk, then we can go for it. If you're going to accept the risk, we can go for it. So learn to partner up early with your program managers, with your engineers, with your finance department, with HR, everyone in your organization, I'm here to make things better. I'm the government, I'm here to help. No, not, but really. So, and once they understand that, now you can start translating risk associated with operational needs into risk that can be mitigated with security controls. Because this is what they want to talk. Operational needs. What do we want to talk? Security controls. Now, what do we have to do? Translate. Have to be that translator. Key thing in being successful in cybersecurity, understanding how to communicate. So as we wrap this class up, just some reflections, questions. Okay, just ask yourself, answer these to yourself. What is your biggest course takeaway? What do you feel was the most important aspect of this course? Is this course what you anticipated, or what you thought it would be? And are assumptions you had about the industry or the work different now? Has this course changed the way you view or see cybersecurity? And this is a great question. Here's why I say that. Cybersecurity is not for everyone. Don't be ashamed of that. To say, hey, look, this is not for me. Yeah, I might want to go into project management. I might want to be a program manager. I don't know. But figure this out early on. Save yourself some time, some money. Okay? All right, guys. Like I said, this has been a great class. I've really enjoyed it. Cybersecurity foundations. As we close out, I wish you all the best career as you go forward throughout your academic career, that you take away everything that you can, glean everything. If you have questions about, and again, not just this class, but say later on, if you can, hey, look, I remember this professor guy, what was his name? You know him, he had all these videos, and he was bald in the top. Yeah, that guy. Watlington, yeah, that was his name. If you guys reach out to me and ask questions, because like I say, I work in the field, I work in the industry. I work for Raytheon, this largest defense contractor on the planet right now. So reach out, ask questions as you're going through other classes if you need to. I'm a resource. All right, have a great class. This has been a great class. Have a great career, and take care. Mr. Watlington, and I am out.